Hi golfers, Nick here from GOLFTEC Singapore. It's Friday, so welcome to another lesson on golf tips. Today on golf tips we're going to talk about the stack and tilt swing in 4 minutes. So about 3 years ago I did a video talking about the stack and tilt swing in 5 minutes, and recently it's had a lot of views and a lot of subscribers to my channel. So I just wanted to do a video today and just sort of to elaborate on that video and maybe just give you guys a little bit more of an insight into stack and tilt and a way to sort of practice your swing at home or at the range. So the stack and tilt name has actually been around for about 15 years, and I get this question asked a lot: where does it come from? Why is it stack and tilt? So about 15 years ago, Andy Plum and Mike Bennett, who were the founders of the stack and tilt system, at the time they were coaching the best players in the world on the PGA Tour and winning events. Golf Digest approached them and said, can you write an article on your coaching philosophy? So usual, or the standard coaching philosophy, has always been to shift the weight back and through, which makes the low point really hard to control, and the best players, the first thing it will do is control the low point and where the club hits the ground. So Andy and Mike use their science and physics background of the golfing machine to develop a way of controlling the low point of the swing, which is what we're going to look at today. And in their system they found that by having no weight shift on the backswing and then shifting forward on the downswing gives you much better control of the low point of the swing. So the stack and tilt name came from actually Charlie Wee, who they were coaching at the time. They were speaking to them in a lesson and they just threw out some words that he was working on. So in the backswing he was trying to stack his shoulders over his hips as opposed to the traditional method of shifting, and also at the same time he was tilting to the left. So that's where those two names came about. I think originally it was tilt and stack, and then Golf Digest actually changed it to stack and tilt. So that's where the name came from, the Golf Digest article. For today's lesson we're actually going to look at controlling the first key fundamental, which is the contact, and what Andy and Mike believe and what our stack and tilt instructors always focus on is trying to control where that club hits the ground. If you can do that, you're going to improve your ball striking. So for the drill, I've placed a line of tape down on the floor. I've put the ball basically at the front of that tape. Now the idea of this drill and the way to practice is to measure where the club hits the ground. So Andy and Mike studied the swing, studied the best players in the world, and they found that all the good players will bottom out after the ball, so their divot will be after the ball. And you can measure how good a golfer is just by measuring where their club hits the ground. So the highest handicappers would hit the furthest back on the ground. The best players will have the tightest dispersion, and it would always be in front of where the ball is. So their divot's just after the golf ball. So for this drill, the idea is that first of all I'd want you to practice just measuring where your club hits the ground. And then you can practice hitting some shots. You can use anything really. I've just used a line of tape just so you can see this clearly. So I should be able to hit this ball without hitting the tape. Let's give it a go. According to the data, I hit 4 degrees down, 4.2 degrees down, so my angle attack was downwards and I hit a good shot. Let's have a quick look at that video and just see how I move my body weight in the swing. So you saw the shot on the screen there, so 94 miles an hour with a 7-iron. I didn't create the power by shifting my weight. I just put that line on my right leg there. You can see as I swing back, I turn inside that. That's what the best players do. So the way I create power is by swinging the club and my hands more around my body in an arc. You can see on the backswing there on the left hand side, my arm hasn't lifted above my shoulders. Now if you're watching the downswing here, I continue to move my weight forward all the way through impact. This is probably the point where the club's in the ground just after the ball here. So this is where we need to bottom out the club, not behind the ball. And then my weight will continue to move forward into the finish. That's what the best golfers do. If you can do that and control the low point, you'll improve your golf. So golfers, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't already, please follow me on my other social media platforms, and we'll see you again next week for another video on golf tips.